Hello everyone, welcome to the Testing Trainer YouTube channel, and in this session we are going to discuss boundary value analysis. In last session we discussed the test design techniques. What are all the test design techniques? And we have seen we have seen equivalence partitioning, and I hope that was helpful. And the next test design technique is boundary value analysis. Let's get into it. What's boundary value analysis? It's a black box testing technique used to identify the test case at the boundaries of equivalence classes. It says boundaries of equivalent classes. The most important word is boundaries. Okay. It focuses on testing values at the edge or boundaries of input ranges, as these are often where errors, defects are more likely to occur. See, the most important basics of the basic foundation of all these test design techniques. Okay, all of this test design technique is we want to achieve two things. Firstly, we want to reduce the number of test cases we are going to write, because we cannot write 2000 test cases. So it's a way, if you are going to write 2000 test cases, it's going to waste of time at the same time. And even for the execution, it takes a long time to we have to spend long time to execute the test. That is the goal number one. We need to reduce the number of test cases. Goal number two, we have to get the maximum coverage or reasonable coverage as much as possible, so that we can make sure the quality is good, right? So these are the two goals. These two goals are applicable for all the test design techniques, starting from equivalence partitioning, and which we are discussing, that is one, boundary value analysis, and state transition testing, and decision table testing, everything. Okay, please keep in mind. So that's one of the very important thing. Now this is similar to the equivalence classes, where we are going to divide set of val they are going to divide their requirements into set of classes based upon the boundaries. Okay, there we just broke down it through classes, right? Now we are going to break into different set using the boundaries. Let's see how are we going to do it. Okay, but there will be a question. Okay, but it's not an interactive session, but I'm just trying to see what are the questions you'll be asking. If it is a live session, people will be asking questions. Why boundaries? Why should we take the boundaries? Because there is an theory that says that, so this is the areas where defects or errors are most likely to occur. So if there is any issues or defects, when I say issues, like if I enter username and password, if I click login, I expect it to log in. But if sometimes we will get a message saying error occurred, or nothing will happen. You will not be moved to home page or another screen after login. So I'm saying that as an issues, right? Yeah. Now we need to find those kind of things, because that's what testing is all about. As I said earlier, when you type something in Google search, when you click like button and you post a message or video in a social media, everything is working because all that has been tested, right? Then only, and we can make sure a user can access it without any issues. That's our ultimate goal of the whole testing, right? Whole testing. So now coming back to the boundary value analysis, now we need to, why I'm saying all this, because we need to often find the errors and defects, okay, with a very limited set of tests. So that's where they are coming up with the point of boundaries. Okay, let's see how the boundaries is going to help us. Okay, now let's consider a scenario where, like an e-commerce page, you bought a you bought a some you are going to buy something. It is a small it's a small party purpose or small party thing, kind of thing. It will be used for the party decoration, and you need more numbers, like some, usually it will be ordered as 50, 100, like that. Okay, so now we are going to order such item in from the e-commerce website. Now we are going to order. Now we are added that item into cart. Now we are going to select how many items we are going to order. Okay, see this. We are in the cart page. Now you need to enter this value with either 50 or 60 or 100, and then you need to just click this button so that many items will be added to the cart, and then you are going to select continue and pay. Okay, this is the scenario. The requirement says so, as again I'm highlighting, requirement is a test basis, right? So the requirement says should accept should accept 1 to 100 items, because that is what this system can handle. Okay, so what does it mean? You can enter 1 or 100 items into a cart. You cannot enter 200 or 101 as well. Okay, coming back to this one. So how the boundary is going to derive now? Now, like how we discussed in the equivalent classes, similarly we have the step number 1. I'll write it step number 1. I have the requirement. Step number 2, analyze and apply technique. Okay, now we are going to apply a technique called equivalent boundary value analysis, right? For the boundary value analysis, now we have 1 to 100. This one can support up to 1 to 100. Now boundary value analysis says begin by identifying the input ranges or boundaries of the system's parameters or variables. You need to identify the input ranges or boundaries of the system variables. So this is the system variables 1 to 100 it accepts. So now we are going to identify the boundary. What is the boundary? So 1 and 100 is a boundary, right? So when you say use the word boundary, boundary means it's an edge, or it's in the boundary. It's in the end, from one end to another end. That's a boundary, right? Now find the item near to the boundary. So before 1 in 0, the nearest boundary for 1 in this side is 2. So see, we identified 0, 1, 2. Now similarly for this one, nearest side, the nearest number in this side is 99 for 100. Nearest number in this side for 100 is 101. So we have identified the boundaries now. Okay. Now choose values that lie at the boundaries of this input range. Now we identify the boundaries, we choose the values, we have to choose the values in the boundaries. Now we have 6 values, right? Now we apply the technique. We apply the technique into the requirement. This is where we are applying the technique. And then we have got step 3 scenarios. So we have got 6 scenarios now. How I'm saying 6? So 0, 1, 2, 99, 100, 101. So we are coming, this time we are coming up with 0, 1, 2, 99, 100 and 101. Now sometimes you can also pick one positive scenario. So we already picked areas in the boundary. So for the valid thing, you can take one number that lies here. Okay. So you take values in the boundaries. On top of it, you can pick one value which just lies in between as well. Okay, in boundary value analysis. The boundary value analysis for the number of 1 to 100 is 0, 1, 2, 50. You can take 99, 100, 101. Alright. Now we have how many numbers? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you can derive 7 test cases. So add how now we have to write the test cases from it, right? Test cases. Step number 4. I have already prepared some draft. So we are going to add the test. Add item. Add. So I'm just taking first 0. Add 0 item in the cart. Click OK and verify. Add 1 item in the cart. Add 2 item in the cart. Add 50 item in the cart. Similarly, so okay, wait a minute. I can add more for you here. 6, 5, 6, 7 tests. So we have come up with 7 tests. Now after 50, we are at 99, 100, 101. Okay, so we have for the 7 scenarios which we have identified, we have derived 7 test cases. Okay, now 0 item into cart, it's a negative scenario, it's an invalid scenario, and it is also, it accepts it's a valid scenario. So from 2 to 1 to 50, 90, and 100 is going to be valid, and this is invalid. From this itself you can see that how the test has been designed. So the invalid test lies in the boundaries, and we are also taking the, so this is considered as boundary 0 0 test from 0 1 to 3. Similarly, this is considered to be the middle valid case, and this is considered to be a boundary. Okay, that's okay. Yeah, so now we have 7 test cases. So wherever it is invalid, then we can say that error message should be displayed, because user should not be able to proceed. So we can show error message, or we can stop the user from entering. So we can do several things, but just simplicity, for simplicity, we are just using error message. So apart from that, whatever the values he entered, it's all past positive, and we can find it. Now I think you have understood what is boundary value analysis, right? Now if still you have some questions or doubts, I'm just going to give an overview again. Okay, so don't worry about it. Now boundary value analysis is a black box testing technique used to identify the test cases. So at the boundaries of equivalent classes. So similar to what we discussed in equivalent classes, we are going to identify the test in the boundaries. Okay, because we have, as I said earlier, we have a theory that states that often the errors or defects lies in the boundaries. Okay, I was saying as these are often where errors defects are more likely to occur. That's why we're having the edges and boundary input ranges. We're taking the concentrating on edges or boundaries of the input ranges. Okay, we are talking here. They are saying input ranges because these are all the values we are giving into the system as an input. Okay, that's why they're saying is input ranges, and select the boundary values. So when we have an requirement of entering 1 2, so I'll just summarize the requirement again. So when we have a requirement says that this particular part, this text area can accept from 1 to 100. If I click 0 and add, it should not work. Okay, so you should get an error message. So in this scenario, 1 to 100 should accept 1 to 100. I am thinking as using the theory of boundary value analysis. I'm thinking this is the area where errors or defect may lie. So I want to find out that and make sure the quality is good. Okay, that's why I'm applying this technique. With this requirement, I'm analyzing the requirement and then applying the technique. So if I need to apply the technique, I need to identify the boundaries. So I've identified the boundaries for 1 to 100. The boundaries are for 1 it is 0 and 2, and for 100 the boundaries are 99 and 101. Also I'm just taking one positive value 50 in between. So I've come up with the scenarios 1, 2, 50, 99, 100, and 101. 7. With that 7 scenarios, I'm writing the 7 test cases like this, which contains both valid and invalid. Okay, so yeah, that's all about the boundary value analysis. And then what else? So consider, okay, what is the advantage out of it? Most likely, we may get some issues. For example, when I hit 101, sometimes the actual result will be user is able to proceed. This is how defect will come into picture. User is able to proceed. So you can say that defect raised. Okay, so we'll talk to a development team and say that, okay guys, when I enter 101 into the cart, I'm expecting error message should be displayed here. Okay, but unfortunately I'm able to proceed, which is wrong, because as per requirement it should accept 1 to 100. As it is accepting more than that, so I'm raising a defect. This is most likely to occur. I'm not saying this will occur. I'm saying there is a high chance that these kind of defects may occur. In my past experience as well, I've faced these kind of issues. And also theoretically, this is a reason we are just concentrating on the boundaries. Okay, where the errors are most likely to occur. Yeah, so this is the advantage out of this boundary value analysis. This is one of the very important topic in testing. So if you have any questions or anything, just comment this video. I'll just get back to you and answer for the question as well. Thank you.